The truth, every time we step in the booth. The truth, every word living proof. The truth, deep down in Kevin Cat. The truth, y'all know how we The truth, the truth, the truth. Facts.
Yes, sir. What's up, y'all?
Yes, sir.
What's up?
What up, though?
Truth and
What
Truth
up,
Podcast.
We here.
Episode 23. 2-3. Episode Jordan. I mean King James, my fault.
We talking goat talk.
Goat talk.
Goat talk on this episode.
Episode Kobe Bean -1.
Because he gone. Rest in peace,
Rest in
R.I.P.
peace,
Mama,
yeah.
R.I.P.
Alright, so.
What it look like, man? What it look like, y'all? How was y'all week?
Awesome.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was warm. It's getting warmer in Philly.
Hey,
Felt like spring a little bit.
Hey, did you notice that it was 1 million people outside spending $1 million?
Yeah, I caught the vibe.
It's been popping this weekend, like the last couple of days,
Bro.
with all this good
I'm
money out
excited
here.
about going to the bar right after this, bro.
You about to spend $1 million in the
I
bar?
don't do much. I don't do much. So it's like when the weather nice, I like to go out every once in a while when I got a haircut.
Oh, we got the cut. Let's go. Let's go.
I ain't show y'all.
Let's go.
So what's the topics looking like, bro?
All right, so today we have. I'm coming up at the top. I got y'all help me out if I get lost. We gonna talk about Joel Embiid and his injury.
I'm about to get into that.
How that may affect, the NBA, the Eastern Conference. How that may affect the Sixers, and how it may affect his MVP run right now, because he's leading it right now, but with this injury, it might affect it. We're gonna get into some hip hop. Some R&B, some albums.
Some ladies love. Cool,
Yes, sir.
Cool
Yeah.
James.
Some R&B. Our top 5 on R&B albums, and what else we got, y'all? We gonna get into our.
Got a few
We
top
got our
five
big man
lists.
basketball, all big man team. So that's power forwards and centers.
Centers.
Yeah, all team, and it ain't gotta be like the best numbers wise. It could just be your all team. Like put it together with your strategy, whatever. Like we got that for y'all, and we got a top 5 handlers, ball handlers in NBA all time. Any era.
Look, they go to handle. Look, can you do this?
You got it.
Wham, wham.
Do the leg.
You can't even.
You got
Wham,
you
wham.
gotta do the kiss.
You done lost.
Do it again. Do it again.
Wham, wham. That's how we do it. Can you do that? Yeah, yes, sir.
All right, what's up? I like this cat. I like all these joints, man. Like,
We got a top 5 too. Last time we got a top 5 rappers, right? So we gonna do NBA players who rap. We gonna do our top 5 players and vice versa.
and vice
Rappers
versa. So, rappers who can ball.
Who can ball?
So
Yeah.
top 5 rappers who can ball, top 5 players who can rap.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So let's dig in. We just gonna jump in real quick, get the Embiid joint out the way, man.
Bet. Oh,
Yeah.
Man.
Are you want me to? All right.
Knock it out, man.
So I guess the biggest question I have is when does the playoffs actually start?
That's a good question. I feel like it
Because
might
I was
start
really
around
just
normal
looking at
time,
it.
right?
I want to say it's gonna start on time.
Mm-hmm.
So what? My point is, let's say he misses time. Let's say it's
2 weeks.
I seen 2 to 3 weeks.
I
Let's
saw 3
say-
or 4.
I seen that too. I seen that first, and then I saw 2 to 3. Let's say he misses worst case. Let's say he misses a month, which maybe translates out to how many games would you say?
It'll
it is?
probably be like,
maybe
10 games,
All right.
man.
12
I would
games, 10 to
guess.
12 games,
Yeah.
10 to 13 games maybe. All right. And let's say let's just go 10 games. Let's say they go about 500. I think that makes the case stronger for him to be MVP in a sense. If you think about it, he proved his value to his team in a sense. They already have a losing record without him.
They do.
Now you're proving you're the number 1 team in the East, and now you're proving it with you not being there by how your team struggles.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying?
I ain't see it that way.
Now the Nets, there's no clear-cut MVP there. Everybody, like those 3 guys, fill in their team
Brooklyn,
exactly.
shit, KD ain't even been playing the last month?
Yeah.
Oh, you
About
want that.
About that.
But what I'm saying is nobody's really been you never looked at anybody like, yeah, that guy, he's definitely the difference maker on that team. It's 3 stars on one team. Right now, 2, I guess.
So, yeah.
Blake Griffin's gonna be a nice little addition.
But you got Nikola Jokic over there in Denver. Him and Bron is like, behind the MVP race right now. You got Embiid, then it's either Joker or Bron, and it's like in that order. Them 3, the top 3, and they neck and neck.
I feel like Embiid has to be it anyway. Honestly, LeBron dropped down to 3rd, probably gonna be 4th seed without Anthony Davis. Embiid kept his team number 1, and honestly, yo, this is the biggest thing for me, right? I don't watch every game like front to back. I'll catch the highlights. I catch, you know what I'm saying. But every time I look at a game, it seemed like his bad Embiid. I'm speaking of. It seemed like his bad games he'll still have like 24 and 10.
Listen, Embiid is
like, you know what I'm saying, like. I haven't seen a game where he's like he had like 12 points.
I ain't seen nobody. He's definitely playing better than anybody in the NBA right now.
Bro,
like,
even when he
a
played
monster
bad, I saw
right
a
now.
game. I ain't see the game. I saw the stat line. I saw he missed he was like 9 for 24. Still had like 18 points and 16 rebounds.
Yeah, he's a monster. He a monster.
Cause he makes all his free throws.
Yeah, facts.
You can't send him to the line. You
But-
basically got to count on him to miss
Only thing I think about
or
them-
get hurt. Like at the end of the day, like that's really what you got to count on.
Only thing I'm thinking
There's
about
nobody that
them
can guard him.
with the MVP talk is, like, how the judges be judging it. Like they look at amounts of games and shit like that.
Well, he
They be
played
like,
a lot of games though.
Like
He hasn't missed a lot of games.
It's only been like 37 games so far this season,
Yeah, it's
and he
too
didn't miss
halfway.
how many games
Right,
he
I'll
missed?
say about 8, maybe 8 in 30 games.
Think about that. And we got 12 losses.
And he about to be out for another 10 games, so that's gonna be like 18 missed
18
games.
out of 72.
Like, feel me? So I don't, I'm just saying, like, I just know how the judges be like, they be looking
Yeah.
into shit like that.
Yeah, I
so
feel you.
I don't know how they would judge it. Like, I think it would affect.
But that's the thing. That's the thing that it will make sense to like whoever those other guys is. Now we got to look at what they doing in his absence. Like, is Brian getting ready to how long AD out still?
AD out another 2 weeks. they
Another
said,
2
at
weeks.
least.
So whoever's on the top 3 MVP list. Now we got to look at them and see what they gonna do. If they ball out.
Joker and Brian. Pretty
And
much.
so if Brian and Joker ball out and their team start winning, getting back into that number 1 and 2 spot in the West, then we can, after 2 weeks, see all right, yeah, Joel ain't got this. But I feel like he got enough of a body of
He
work
got a nice gap.
already,
I
so,
think,
and the team is still balling without him right now.
Still
Like,
number
Ben
one.
coming back. I look at the team because I actually watched the games all the way through.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying nothing,
I got you.
but that's what I do. So I pay hard attention to him. And I see what's happening with Doc Rivers. In one of our earlier episodes, I was all on Doc Rivers being here and how what he putting in this team we never had before.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, this team playing like a championship squad. Like everybody
They really are.
believe.
People are bothering
Everybody
to Doc
believe,
Rivers, dog.
bro.
They are.
People
They really
really
are.
bothering
They
to Doc Rivers.
believe.
really
This
are.
is heavy right now,
Yeah.
Fred.
I ain't gonna lie,
Brown was becoming like a guy that's just there. All right, all right,
He
fine.
just, yeah, he ain't paying you no
And
mind.
that was like the attitude.
I think I hear you, but I ain't listening.
But
Yeah.
Doc Rivers, it seemed like people really respond to him. Like these players really respond to him well, man.
And they
For
say
good
Sam,
reason,
and they
for
say
good
Sam
reason.
Cassell is a beast on that bench.
I
too.
love Sam
They say
Cassell,
Sam
bro.
Cassell is a monster.
I wanted
on that
Sam
bench,
Cassell as
man.
a head coach before we got
I
that.
was about
Before
to
he
say,
got fired.
It ain't just Doc, it's the whole
Yeah.
coaching staff.
Yeah.
For the Sixers
Before
loaded.
Doc
Like, they
got
got nice
fired,
little
I wanted
staff.
Sam Cassell as a
A
head coach.
basketball mind.
So for me, man, I just feel like I think Embiid got enough body of work with him, and the team enough is good to probably hold it down. I really believe it. Ben coming back next game, I believe we're gonna be good enough to hold it down. We might go better than 500 if we got.
How far? are we
I feel
ahead
like
of
if we
this
got
next?
12 games without Embiid,
Probably
I
two
think
games.
we'll probably go 8-4.
I can see
Because
it
the Nets
dropping
can win
down,
12
maybe,
games.
but still taking it back. Like,
So as
maybe.
far as the standings, y'all think in his absence, y'all think the Sixers gonna lose that number 1 seed? Or,
I
because
think
Brooklyn
they
keep
will. I
winning.
think they will because
They
Brooklyn
only
keep
like a
winning.
game or two out of
I
the
think
first
they
place.
will.
And Milwaukee balling too.
Milwaukee,
They winning
they just
too.
won again tonight too.
And they only like 2 games behind us.
Yeah,
One or
I'm
two
alright.
games
Milwaukee-
First
behind
of all,
Milwaukee
I'm
coming
not.
too.
I don't care about being 3rd or 4th seed.
Me neither.
To be honest.
It don't really matter.
I just don't want
I
to be
don't
4th
care.
and have to face them high teams.
Yeah, them 4 or
in a
5
row.
seed, that 4 or 5.
I don't wanna
then
face
you gotta
them in a
face-
row.
Yeah, that's not the match.
Give me
If
one
we
and let
third
them knock
seed,
off
if
each
we
other.
2nd seed, I'm cool. Like, because I know we can beat whoever 8th or 7th or 9th.
Right.
I know we can
Right.
beat anybody who we gonna play in the first round.
Right, except for Miami. That's the only team on that low level squads as far as their records. Is that
As far as East,
they would
go,
do something to us. They would at least send a 7.
That makes sense. I get it because
I mean-
the way they coached and
I don't know.
the system,
I don't
and
know
then
if
they
have
got
enough-
another big man too. That's like,
Mhm.
Who they have a big
like,
man?
They got Bam over there.
Yeah.
He not Embiid, but I'm saying he can.
I did see.
You know what I'm saying? He
You
gonna make
said
it
another big man.
Olynyk is another body though.
Yeah, he too small.
Bro,
He a
yeah,
baby.
he would get, yeah,
He a
he gonna
baby.
get the
Well, he
ball.
at least got 6
Bam
fouls.
can't.
He
Bam
can
can't
put
check
his
Embiid.
body on Embiid's knees real quick and hurt his
Yeah,
ass.
that
The
makes sense.
only
You know what I
team
mean?
that I feel like they give the Sixers some real smoke is the Nets, and that's basically because they have so much star power and so
Yeah.
much ISO work
Brooklyn.
they can get off.
That's
Nobody,
the one
nobody's
team.
scared of nobody.
But
It's just
I'm
that
really
we
not
see
scared
other
of them.
teams.
I'm not worried about anybody in the East
I'm keeping it
as
real.
long as we got all our help.
Brooklyn's scary to me.
I don't
Because
know.
Because it's the names.
No, I'm gonna say
They don't
because
rebound well. They don't defend well.
they don't. No. But if you watch Brooklyn and they winning streaks,
They
since
close games
they
out good.
defensive game. They defense has dropped from. They was talking about the worst defense in history. Them niggas in the middle of the pack now. They stay up there somewhere between like 15 and 18 or some shit like that. Within like a 2-week span, they shit like rise. Like
What
at
happened?
least,
They
like
played all the
12,
bottom teams.
They played a lot of bad, but against
They
good,
played-
against good teams, Brooklyn is
Okay.
like 9-1 or some shit like
Yeah,
that. Like,
they've been beating the good teams.
yeah, like they probably got one loss against winning teams.
I feel you. Like I said, like that's the only team we worry. I'm
They
not worried about the
dangerous. I'm
Bucks.
not gonna lie, they dangerous, dog.
Not
They
worried about
scary.
the Bucks. The Nets is the only team I would be worried about on the East, and we wouldn't see them in the first or second
Yeah,
round.
that's what I'm
probably.
saying.
So
Come
like,
playoff
so I'm not
time.
really